Hey everyone, this is Grant Thomas from Visas Association, bringing you another questions and answers video where today's topic is when should the accommodation reservations for my Schengen visa be made and must I pay for everything in advance? Now, we've done a video on flights prior, so this is just around the accommodation, but the logic between both of them is very similar. So in this video, at the end, I'm actually going to walk you through exactly how you can get reserved accommodation for your Schengen visa holiday, or Schengen region holiday, I should say, without any hassles at all. But before I get into that, there's probably two key things that I'll just want to walk you through before you understand exactly how all of this works. The first one is that if you're not familiar with what a reserved accommodation is, or what people might refer to as reserved hotel, is essentially when you look to get hotels, you can do one of two things. The first one is you can pay upfront. So you essentially look for a hotel or an accommodation or Airbnb, and you look to book it for an entire week, and you pay 100% of the money up front. And so what the reservation does is you actually reserve the room in the hotel or the room in the Airbnb for your stay without paying a significant fee up front. Now, there are many different websites that do this. However, Visas Association actually provides this as a service. So we can actually go and reserve a whole heap of accommodation and hotels throughout the region throughout the Schengen region for your entire trip. And what this means is it means that you're able to apply for a multiple entry visa as opposed to like a single entry or a double entry. Now, before I continue, there are two very important things to understand before I get into the detail of this. The first one is that most Schengen embassies actually endorse using reservations, and they actively say it on their website, which is do not pay for your flights or your accommodation 100% up front. Use reservation services to ensure that you do not risk your money. And what they mean there is that your visa might not be approved. It might be rejected, it might be delayed, it might take longer than you thought it would take. And so what they're saying is use a reservation service to prove that you are going to go to the Schengen region, because a reservation service is better than just saying, I think I'm going to go to that hotel, but don't risk all of the money that you would need to pay for booking actual hotels up front before you get the Schengen visa. And the reason for that is because a lot of hotels have non-refundable bookings, especially when you're going for budget hotels or grabbing advantage of a couple of specials or discounts. And so they actually say, don't book it up front, use a reservation service, and then provide us the details of that. And the second really important point to acknowledge is that there is a lot of websites online that offer free, or what we call dummy and fake accommodation. Be cautious of using these, because about 80% of the websites that say that they do reservation for accommodation or hotel reservations for you use fake and illegal documents. And what do I mean by this? So the embassy/consulate go and verify everything that you provide to them. They make sure your passport is legitimate. They make sure that the photos are real. They use the certifications to make sure they're valid. So the way they validate accommodation and flights, etc., is they actually go to the accommodation provider's website. They take your booking reference ID and your last name, and they put it into the website, and they double check the hotels that match that booking ID to what you have included in your application. So if they get there and it says that this ID and this name does not exist on every single accommodation, what they know is that you have used a fake ticket, which means that you have fraudulently submitted your requirements to them. Now, this usually isn't crazy sort of illegal, in the sense that the only thing they will usually do is reject your Schengen visa. And if they see this, it's almost guaranteed they will reject it. But just know it is actually highly illegal and a criminal offense to submit fraudulent documents for a government review. And so do not risk it. Always make sure that when you communicate to these providers that you say, can the website or can the embassy and consulate validate the reservation ID and my details on the website of the accommodation provider? And this is something that Visas Association takes very seriously, which is why we struggle to find really good providers for it. So we decided to make our own, and we've built partnerships with a lot of the airlines as well as a lot of hotels throughout the Schengen region to provide this service. So don't take this as a sales pitch. You do not need to use us at all. It is just an example for you to understand that there are a lot of businesses that provide this that could actually risk the approval of your Schengen visa. But there are actually quite a few that are completely legitimate that you're happy to use and feel free to use. You're also able to book all of your hotels and accommodation 100% upfront if you're highly confident that your Schengen visa will be approved. So those are two very sort of important pieces of information to understand before we dive a little bit deeper into the reservation accommodation details. So when should we book it? So I will repeat again that these are actually not formal tickets. It just says that the hotel has verified that you have got a room spare under your name that you are awaiting payment for. So the hotel says, yes, there is a room under Mary Santos's name and that they are just awaiting their approval for their payment in order to approve and finalize the booking. This is completely fine. However, there are some exceptions to this rule, such as applying from countries like the UK at the moment. They do not accept reservations. They only accept fully paid for accommodation. When you get the reservation, what they will do is they will provide you a document that's got reservation IDs and a link that they can go and verify. So the embassy will actually go in and verify it as well. So this is very important to understand. It's very different from going onto a hotel's website and paying up front to just reserving it. Reservations do last for up to 3 weeks. Some are 1, some are 2, many are 3 weeks, which means that there is a very important time that you need to apply for your reservation. So the application process itself, once you have your appointment at the consulate or the embassy, is about 2 to 4 weeks for them to come back to you and say, yes, you've got a visa, or no, you haven't. So if we understand that, and most of the reservation providers take about 2 days to finalize and provide you with the documents, we recommend that you request your reserved accommodation 2 to 3 days before your embassy or consulate appointment. So imagine that my appointment for the consulate is on the 4th of July. What I want to do is apply for my reserved accommodation and probably my flights on the 1st or 2nd of July so that I have it in my inbox and I can submit it with my requirements during my Schengen appointment on the 4th of July. This then means that they're valid for another 2 to 3 to 4 weeks. So when the embassy and consulate is reviewing the requirements and making sure all of my documents are fine, and then going online and checking my reservation ID is true and 100% valid, that the reservations are still live and still active and that the hotel has not cancelled them. Because after 3 weeks, all of the hotels will cancel the reservation because you have not paid and there is no requirement for you to pay. So when you go and get these services, you don't need to pay. Essentially, you pay an organization like Visas Association to go and book these flights and accommodation for you, and then we cancel them after 3 weeks for you, or they automatically get cancelled. There is no obligation for you to pay. And again, just to wrap up this video, do not get dummy or fake tickets for flights or accommodation, as it will risk your potential name being black flagged against the Schengen region. It is a fraudulent activity, and only use approved providers. So there are 2 solutions. Get a official reserved accommodation or pay for the accommodation 100% upfront. And again, Visas Association can help you if you would like any of that. So hopefully this video has added some serious value to your Schengen visa application. Put any of the questions that you have in the future down below in your comments section, and I look forward to making sure that you get the Schengen visa. Now, to help other people get access to this valuable information, because there's a lot of outdated information out there, click the like button below so that this video gets passed across to more people applying for the Schengen region. And whilst you're doing that, be sure to click the subscribe button, because as the Schengen region updates their requirements, we create new videos that you'll be notified of, so that if the requirements change during your application process, you're made aware of that immediately. Now, I've linked to a couple of other videos that could help you in your Schengen visa application process, so be sure to check them out, and I hope that you get a great trip to Europe and get that Schengen visa approved as well. Looking forward to hearing from you.